or worse. Gently start cleaning your body with easy capsules that start working while you sleep. Oxy Powder does not require time off work, and there's no need for bad-tasting concoctions. Instead, Oxy Powder slowly releases monoatomic oxygen into the intestinal tract and body. Experience the astonishing cleansing power of superoxide and ozonide technology. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to get started with Oxy Powder, or call 1-888-253-3139.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We got a lot of other points we're going to be going through here today. The Dr. Edward Group are taking your calls on Ebola, giving you the latest on that and so much more. GOP set to dominate in the midterm elections coming up. Looks like they'll get the Senate and the House. Most polls show. CBS, those putting out disinfo saying shows Democrats ahead. Well, the Republicans don't deliver on liberty this time. Both parties are done, and all the numbers show that. I want to take some phone calls. The toll-free number to join us for Dr. Group is 800-259-9231. And in the interest of getting to a lot of your calls, we're going to try to move through them quick. 800-259-9231. Dr. Group, let's go to Kelly in Texas. Kelly, thanks for calling in. You're on the air.
Thank you so much for taking my call, and God bless you both. I've been doing a lot of research on this Ebola, and I've read that where, of course, you've already said Claudio Silver is a good combatant to take, and also that I read, and I wondered if Dr. Group had heard about this natural ingredient found in foods that we eat is called selenium that could also help, and also it's awful blatant that they bring patient zero over here right at the beginning of the flu inoculation season, and that Ebola uses the immune system against itself. That's how it works. Therefore, bringing down everybody's immune system 50% that takes this flu shot. And I also wanted to ask if Alex or you, either one, heard about the shipments of Claudio Silver that were sent to Africa and stopped before anybody in the United States had it, and then it was sent back 3 times and never arrived in Africa.
Dr. Group, thank you, caller. A lot of great points, Kelly.
Actually, I know the people that sent the silver over there, and they had already contacted some doctors in Africa to do some testing. They sent it over there. It was flagged. It was stopped by the government. It was not allowed into the country.
Incredible.
And I can definitely verify that story for you.
I mean, because then it's something that some pharmaceutical company can't patent.
Right.
Even though pharmaceutical companies are on record are coming out with all their other patented silver stuff.
Yeah, they can't patent it. There's no money in it. You know, it's it does, to do silver the right way, it takes a long time, and really the best form of silver is going to be produced using a high voltage AC current. So it's definitely something that I would put at the highest point on the list. You mentioned selenium. I would also say zinc. You know, selenium and zinc are really good for the immune system. You should stock up on those as well. There's a lot of different things out there. Vitamin C.
What fruit is the best overall to just give you a lot of stuff?
Acai fruit. You know, I kind of look at readily available things, you know, and seasonal, but any type of live organic food that you eat, especially if it's picked really fresh off the tree, is going to do your body a lot of good. It's going to provide you with the nutrients, and it's going to provide you the enzymes and all the stuff that you need to support your immune system. So it's really more...
But Big Pharma says that's not true. All we need is Big Pharma and shots every day. It's a conspiracy theory that we even need good food, or even oxygen. In fact, they're now saying oxygen may not be needed, and that's a conspiracy, that all we need is GlaxoSmithKline.
Well, it's just like the USDA and the government approving Dow's new herbicide yesterday or the day before, the 2,4-D, the mixture with glyphosate, after there was 80,000 scientists that wrote in, and all kinds of congressmen, too, to try to get it banned. And what do? They approve it. So, you know, the design is for them to create these chemicals, create these endocrine disruptors, create all these things to actually cause you to become ill, cause your immune system to go down, so they can go on the back end and prescribe you medications, you know, doctor's visits, stuff that doesn't ever address the root cause, only addresses the symptoms and causes you to be in a dependency state to depend.
Everything they do is about the welfare, all of it. Be dependent on them. Don't teach you how to fish, but give you fish, tainted fish. We'll be right back with Dr. Group, your phone calls. Karen, Anonymous, Jade, Bridget, Peter, your calls are 3 minutes away. I'm Alex Jones. p.m. Central, that's 5 to 7 Eastern, 2 to 4 Pacific, 3 to 5 Mountain, with the live syndicated Sunday transmission. I want to take just a mass of calls in this third hour and intersperse it with some other breaking news at the bottom of the hour on a new contest we're launching to expose the Ebola threat, to expose Obama as a false deity, a false god, and to pull down and desecrate that god of political correctness. We're also going to look at angry protests target wealthy whites, vandalize homes, burn U.S. flags, assault reporter, call for officer's death. The streets of Ferguson were literally on fire last night, and it spread into St. Louis. Kurt Nimmo has a story on Infowars.com pointing out this could blow up big time over the weekend. We're also going to have our reporters down on the border investigating the CDC scooping up people that are ill and showing how it's wide open, because Jay Johnson says that it's not wide open. So we're going to go prove that he's a liar. Oops, he might get me. He's a big thug. I have no free speech. Yes, I do. Even if you say I don't, I'm going to exercise it. So that's all coming up. Dr. Group, we're about to go right back to the calls, but other points that you may have forgotten to make before we go to Karen and others.
Well, I mean, no really other points that except for the fact that we just need to watch this whole Ebola thing really closely to determine, you know, what's going on. I try not to be fearful and try not to create any fear-mongering or anything, but probably my greatest fear, if you want to call it a fear, is if we get to the point where they're coming door to door and they're quarantining, because then you're helpless unless, you know, there's a mass revolution and we, you know, resist that. But I mean, for them to have the ability, they already have the executive orders in place. I mean, literally, if you're showing signs of respiratory illness, they can, you know, quarantine you.
Obama expanded that 3 months ago.
You know, take you to wherever the local, you know, whatever the closest camp they have set up is. I mean, that's probably my biggest situation, because then I'm stuck. I can't do anything for myself. You know, I'm stuck in a situation away from my family where, you know, I might just have to just get out of the United States, if that's even possible. They might lock down the borders. I mean, I've had calls. You know, a lot of people call my office just saying, what do I do? I mean, am I going to even be able to get out of the United States?
By the way, since you mentioned that, we haven't played this video clip. I'm going to play it and then go to phone calls. We reported the text of this 3 days ago when it first broke, but now the video is up on Infowars.com. The commanding general of Southcom, you know, the world split up into regions. Ebola outbreak in Central America could cause mass migration to the U.S., Now Southcom is in the news today saying it could be in Brazil right now. We know it's in Spain and other areas because folks are running from Africa mainly across west into the Americas. And so, boy, I tell you, that is not some good news if that is the case. Let's go ahead and play a clip of the commanding general, General John F. Kelly. Here it is.
Back to the Ebola thing, I'll just tell you a story. I was down in Costa Rica a couple of weeks ago talking to our embassy personnel. One of them relayed a story to me. They were standing on the border between Costa Rica and Nicaragua, which is not really a border. I mean, it's all free flow. If you don't have the right papers, you can just, for a very small amount of money, move through the border. But there were 5 or 6 black guys that were there at the border waiting in line to pass into Nicaragua and then on the way north. And the embassy person walked over and just asked who they were. And they said, well, we're from Liberia. been on the road about a week, and we're on the way to New York City, illegally. So they're on the network. They had flown into, I think, Trinidad, and then met up with the traffickers, and now they're on the way in. They could have made it to New York City and still be within the incubation period of Ebola. So I go back to this issue, and I've highlighted this issue in Washington, that if there's an outbreak in the Caribbean, particularly, or in Central America, it will make the 68,000 unaccompanied children, I think, look like a small problem.
General, thank you for that.
That is just chilling. And you see guys like him that are shooting straight, and then you compare it to the head of the CDC or Obama saying there's no big deal, everything's fine. I mean, what planet are they living on?
I don't know what's going on at the World Health Organization, the National Institute of Health, the CDC, the Homeland Security, the FEMA, you know, all of them. It's just like they don't even know what the other one's doing. I mean, you know, it's just a complete nightmare. I mean, there's no organization. They're not even taking the proper steps to contain the waste products. You know, just the guy that died in the apartment. They sent the kid, one of the kids in the apartment, to school. So it was okay for him to go to school.
Didn't clean the ambulance.
They're not, you know, they're not wiping anything down. I mean,
this guy's spraying bloody poop everywhere, vomiting blood everywhere. I'm sorry to be gross. I mean, these people just explode stuff, and it's just, oh, no big deal.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be surprised, Dr. Grip, if he hadn't spread it in Dallas.
Yeah, I'd be surprised too. I mean, we'll see in the next couple weeks. I mean, you know, really we're going to see what's going to happen come about the 1st of December, maybe mid-November. I mean, that's going to be the telling point.
If it starts spreading, that'll start happening in the next week. It's just 21 day, but then the government will try to cover it up.
The government will try to cover it up, but if, you know, we were looking at all the different vaccine trials and everything pretty much ends to, you know, or starts at the beginning of the year.
Looks scripted.
It does look scripted. Yes. So, I mean, everything. And as a matter of fact, even in 2003, the New York Times reported that there was some Ebola vaccine testing going on in 2003.
Well, when I saw Bill Gates' name back then, I said, look out, here comes Ebola on air.
Right.
I mean, it's just pure evil.
So it's not like, you know, they haven't been testing Ebola vaccines. They've been testing Ebola vaccines and owned the patent on Ebola strains for a long time. You know, and they prepared us with movies like Outbreak and Ebola and all these 28 Days Later and all the zombie movies and all this other stuff. So, you know, it's conditioning of the mind and then seeing how far we're going to take it, you know, doing test runs.
Yeah, because they're clearly trying to have plausible deniability with open borders and the planes still come in. They clearly want it to spread.
Right.
I mean, there's no debating that now.
But they're always going to test they always test everything in these African countries because, you know, these are poor families, these poor environments. No one's ever, you know, there's not a lot of media over there. It's not going to get out. It's kind of secretive.
It's like testing. You know, it's like giving black people syphilis. Nobody will believe if they complain. Just shoot them up. Just, you know, just...
Right. And a lot of the testing goes on, you know, back in the jungles in Africa, you know, originally with...
That's where the Pentagon's got the testing facilities.
Right. The HIV testing a long time ago and the AIDS virus and all that stuff and Ebola, all that's usually tested in these jungles somewhere in Africa.
Something tells me we're not going to hear about this from Al Sharpton, though. He's too busy race pimping to actually try to help.
Jackson's talking about it, so...
Oh, Jesse Jackson says it's racist that this guy didn't get treatment. No, that's what hospitals do now. They just turn you away.
Well, the thing is, all of our hospitals are already full anyway with all the degenerative diseases and the flu-like symptoms. I mean, and now people, you know, especially around Dallas and all throughout the United States because of Ebola, if they get a cough and a respiratory situation, which is actually going around now because of all the contaminated vaccines, you know, how do you know, there's no room in any hospitals right now anyway. If the Ebola thing takes on and it starts to become a real pandemic and people start coming down with it, there are no hospitals to go to, people. There's, you know...
This is crazy. Let's go to calls.
Camps. I mean...
Let's talk to Karen in Florida. Well, what's wrong with the camp? Don't be racist. Karen, you're on the air. Welcome.
Right. It's not a camp. It's just a care center.
It's loving. It's not a death panel. It's a loving. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, hi there, Mr. Jones.
Welcome.
We're five-year listeners, and I just wanted to let you know that we also have the nascent iodine, the oxy powder, and we also bought the water system.
Well, thank you, because that funds our operation and their quality products. Thank you, ma'am.
Totally awesome. And what we wanted to know is the gloves for money. We know that the American dollar travels all over the place. And we're starting to wonder when would be a good time to start using gloves for cash, or, what are we going to do